interesting, man. Like the whole hip hop as a genre, right? Where it's gone, man. Hip hop as a genre,
Mm.
where it's gone and where it is. Like, what do you feel like? As in, do you feel that I guess mainstream hip hop is kind of like it's kind of not dead, but it's like the direction it's taken is not cool. As in, it's just it promotes negativity more so than positivity. Like I don't know. What do you kind of think about that idea?
Um, yes, I think, yeah, I mean, it's always been like that though. Like mainstream, everything is just,
Yeah,
it's my bitches, I got 100 stacks, I got,
yeah, 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 yeah,
I got these many bands, I got like, but
yeah.
I don't know, like at the end of the day, I just think it's entertainment, man. Like I like because of the nature of the
Mm,
genre, it's the most
mm,
almost like conversational type of music, right? So like
yeah.
these guys are not, they don't have that restriction of like, yo, I have to sing these 16 bars, and because I'm singing at this speed, I have to space it out this way, and then it have to
Mm,
sound like that. You know what I
mm,
mean? You
mm,
can just be
mm.
like, yo, this is exactly what I want to say, and I'm just gonna flow like this, like this, like that to make it fit. You know what I mean? And
True.
I think that's what makes it so that people say the wildest shit and the most whatever the fuck they want to say, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's a bad thing at all, man. I think it's quite entertaining, bro. Like I was listening to a song
Yeah.
just before when I went for my walk,
Mm-hmm.
man. And this guy says some shit like, my bitch above average, like a B minus.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And like I
That's
was
a cool
laughing my
line.
ass
Yeah,
off, bro.
that's a cool line. Yeah,
You
that's
know
a
what I
cool
mean?
line.
Like it's not meant to
Yeah,
be taken seriously. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But like obviously
But
you
what
can't
about the
say that.
people who do? But what
Mm,
about the people who do take it seriously, man? That for me, because you sound like you're like an individual who's, you've got your career. You know what I'm saying? You've got your hobbies that you do as well. You've got things that you're into, and you're very capable of like differentiating between this is the street, this is just entertainment, right? And
mm,
this is I shouldn't really be. I feel like a lot of people are now living
mm,
by
mm.
the hip hop media and what it presents, or even the hip hop musicians and pop personalities on social media. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
feel like people are just literally taking that, transplanting it into their life. You know what I'm saying? And trying to live that
Mm,
life. Don't you feel like with other people?
mm.
Don't you feel like other people you're good at differentiating, but other people they can't do that?
It depends though. It depends. There's
Yeah.
like um I think for teenagers, yeah.
Mm. Mm.
For teenagers it can be negative in that sense.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, man, like whether there's hip hop or there's no hip hop, once
Mm.
you're a teenager,
Yeah.
once you're growing up and you're a teenager, you're gonna get naughty because that's just what happens,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Um, I don't think that artists should be held liable for things like that unless you're um doing some shit on social media that's like now it's outside of music and you're doing some shit in the streets. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, 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 yeah. But now these days, the music and the social media is now so intertwined, right? It's almost like
Mm.
you can't be a big musician if you're not trending on, online I mean
On
on
social media.
IG or social media. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay, for example, like
Mm.
say, um, what's an example? What's a good example? So, for example, say Two Chains might say some shit like, "Oh, my bitch ain't got no stomach." You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And obviously, like, it's not meant to be taken literally. He's just trying to brag
yeah,
that she's got a slim waist and whatnot, right?
yeah,
But he's not gonna be on Instagram or whatever, um, pointing at his wife, being like, "Yo, look at this bitch. She's got no stomach." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's quite easy to see like what's entertainment. Like there are some things though that I will give you that point that like they definitely a lot of people that will copy things. Like I've mentioned this one before. Like
Mm.
say Hennessy, for example. Everybody
Yeah,
supposedly loves drinking Hennessy. You No, but it's not because they really like Hennessy. It's because like that's what they saw
Yeah,
this rapper or that
yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah.
drinking about.
So
But
like, so it doesn't like what they're calling the hip hop culture doesn't normalize um stuff that is like I don't know, man. I've never really watched all of these love and hip hops and all these type of shows, right? But
mm,
and it was a conscious effort on my part not to. Like people would show me an episode or some clips and whatever, and I'd be like,
mm,
nah, I don't, because all I was seeing there is people normalizing the whole, baby mamas, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
messy, like those type of messy relationships. Like it's cool to have
mm,
a baby moms, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and like
Having
really
like
like, like
multiple chicks.
yeah, like I mean, like people just, like just the lifestyles, bro. I just didn't feel like, and the problem with me, I guess, is I don't see it in other genres, man. I don't really
Mm,
see in other genres those type of lifestyles being promoted, like as
promoted.
yeah, as much as it's more like they're ridiculed. You know what I mean? It's more like they're ridiculed.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So,
But
okay, you mean like say for example the baby mamas thing or the uh, excessive um materialism, right? So like,
yeah, yeah,
having like, this type of sneaker or this type of brand or
yeah,
this car or you know,
yeah,
I don't know, like I just think some of those things can be good, some can be bad.
yeah,
It just depends on the person that's listening and taking heed, right? So definitely, I'll say we don't see baby mamas or like kids out of wedlock and that
mm,
type of thing in other genres, and that needs to stop. And I feel like in a way, IG kind of like social media is so linked to entertainment these days, like
yeah,
music entertainment, that
yeah.
you get to see that a lot of these people are actually normal people. They're not out there like having 10 joints, 10 girls at a side. It's just
Right.
it's a character, right? It's a
Yeah.
music it's a music industry character. But
Yeah.
then um obviously there's a lot of people that can't see past the art
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Cause for
real
me,
life.
cause for me, bro, what always to me, what makes me think or what makes me get curious, right? Cause I always
Mm,
like to ask why, right? Like what
mm,
why is it like I feel like when I look at hip hop, it's kind of like um there's essentially no censorship, on in stuff like,
mm,
or even social media, you know what I mean?
mm,
And
mm,
sometimes I'm asking myself, is it why that this stuff is allowed to go so uncensored when it is
mm,
pretty, like some of it is pretty damaging, Is it
mm,
mental conditioning? Is it a form of mental conditioning? That's the question that I start asking myself. Because the
But
most
like
people,
from
the
who?
majority, yeah.
From who? Mental conditioning from who?
As in, because the majority of people who consume
Mm.
hip hop are obviously black, right?
Eh, I,
As in,
I beg to differ.
I'm not saying, but I'm not saying people don't listen to it, right?
Mm,
I mean the
mm.
people who consume and internalize hip hop,
Okay,
and
got you,
have
got
hip
you,
hop
got you.
people as, as their, I don't know, role models or people who they really follow.
Right. Okay, I got you in that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's mostly black people who do that. So when I'm like that, I'm like, is it a kind of thing to kind of have to, and because we all know generally, right, the music, the big music labels, right?
Mm,
I mean, I'm not gonna, point any fingers or whatever, but they're generally control. We all know the people who generally control them, right? Who generally own them,
mm,
right? So
mm,
is it part of a, I guess, is it part of something that's meant to keep the younger brothers, young people,
mm,
black people,
mm,
in a certain
mm,
mindset? You know what I mean?
okay.
That's what
Man,
makes me think, bro. I mean,
man.
yeah.
I don't. I've heard this like POV before.
Mm,
I don't necessarily think that there's somebody behind the scenes trying to make it so that young dudes are out there like listening to this and getting influenced by it and not being able to achieve or like I don't think, for example, like to give a plain example, I don't think there's some
Mm,
exec somewhere say, man, I want you to rap about, I want you to have this chick, with oil all over her legs or whatever, and then
mm.
you be in front of her throwing this cash and talking about like my baby mama, this,
Yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
intent of having some young dude seeing that and becoming into that. I
Mm.
just think that we get entertained by shit that is so radical and different. You know what I mean?
Different from what you're used to.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly, right? So for a lot of people that internalize
Mm,
that are not from there, like for example, like you from Zim, I'm from Malawi, right?
mm,
We can look at that and be like, damn, bro, that's another black dude. He rapping and he's talking about all this crazy shit. It's so
mm,
entertaining because like you see someone that look like you and they're doing all this crazy
mm,
shit.
mm, 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 mm.
You know what I mean? But you're not gonna you're not gonna internalize it to that degree just because it's still. I mean, I just feel like it has to be like that because that's what's entertaining. It came up like that because that's what the guys in the ghetto, their lifestyles were like. You know what I mean? But now it's at a point where like a lot of these guys that are rapping now making hits, they're from
Posing.
the suburbs.
It's posing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, they're from the suburbs and they're posing because that's what's what I mean. That's what's hot. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So that agenda you're saying that like is it some sort of better conditioning? I don't think it ends up being like that for a lot of people, a lot of young people.
mm.
But I don't think that um it's on purpose. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. You think it's so you'd be saying it's coming from a more perspective of, record labels just want to cash in, and what makes the most money is the wild shit.
Yeah, wow, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if you're like a record label exec, and then you got a dude that look like Kendrick, you know what I mean, and then you got a dude that look like Young Thug all tatted up and shit. It,
Mm,
the Young Thug guy's song is catchy, but since baby mama has got like, this and this, and then you got a dude that look like Kendrick Lamar, and you just be like, damn, like who's the show guy, like being all
but
preachy and shit, you know?
yeah, but man, I did a little bit of research though in terms of like finding out how record labels or record companies are able to influence how much a song will be a hit. Have you seen? I don't know if it's the same
Mm,
on you, but every time when I'm on YouTube, right, and I play a random
mm,
song, whatever genre, right, whatever genre,
mm.
the next song that is recommended is for me lately has just been that Drake and Future song, like what is it called?
Yeah,
Used to or
man.
whatever,
Yeah. I forgot what it's called, but like, I know it's yeah. The the
right?
the
You
yeah,
see?
the one they're delivering trash or something at the
That's it.
beginning.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly that
yeah.
one. You see. So then and then so I did some research, right? So like essentially the record companies obviously they pay, right? They pay the
Mm,
streaming platforms, right? They pay
mm,
the Spotify's. They pay radio stations. They pay YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
For the ads and stuff, right? And then
mm.
even for like with the radio stations, I think there's been some changes because back in the day they could literally give them money directly. They could give
Yeah,
them money directly to play a song, but now it's kind of indirect. But essentially, the record companies will expend their resources, right, to
to
have
get
these
that song out
songs,
there.
yeah, to get the songs popping out all the time. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
And I'm like,
mm.
when you think about it, sometimes how many songs have you listened to, bro? And you're like, man, this song isn't even that good, but why?
Oh
Why
man,
is
that
it like?
that's
Why is
that,
it
that's
popping? Why? Why? Huh?
that's a very 2020 thing, I think.
Yeah.
That's a very 2020 thing. Like, oh, I guess now we've moved on to
Perspective.
the topic of like, yeah, like
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we've moved on to the topic of like what is are hits even real these days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like you're like probably the fifth person that's complained to me that like we keep seeing this song. One of the
Yeah.
boys actually tried to block that song
Yeah. Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
YouTube account.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't want to see this again because it's
Exactly.
always coming up next, and that
That's
makes
it.
you wonder like, is that
So
really a hit if you guys are
yeah,
spamming us with it?
exactly. So that goes back to what we were saying, bro, about these record companies are able right? To influence which songs are going to be out there the most. They would rather
mm,
influence that song that is
mm,
more crazy and whatever, showing mad, like mad wild stuff, right? Than the
mm,
song
mm,
by I don't know, like a rapper who's singing about something different. You know what I mean? Like as in, and
mm.
at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure if they were to push another rapper who's putting out a different kind of material, they were to push him like that and support him like that, the song would end up being a hit too. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
as in, I just don't really see that diversity in terms of the number of songs that are
Oh,
making it
okay.
big.
Okay.
I
So
just
like
see
decent
one
songs are
type.
not being pushed.
That's it. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
then
Okay.
that's got me asking. I'm like, why? Why is that though? Is that on
True.
purpose? Is that what's going on there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Damn.
yeah, man. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know. I always just like to, like and like you, just like you said, bro. I don't like to think. I think you and I can both agree. We don't like to always say, "Oh, there's some big bag dude in a hood." You know what I mean? In the back,
Mm,
somewhere pulling the strings.
mm,
You know what I mean? Some puppeteer.
mm.
We both don't
Yeah.
like to think that. Because that's the
Yeah.
mentality we talked about in I think the first
Yeah.
episode, right?
Yeah.
But
The victim mentality.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's that,
Mm.
But in this situation, it gets me asking, but wait, why? Because it seems like there is a motive. For me, if I can see some sort of motive, right?
Mm, mm.
If I can see a motive, then I can be like, oh, okay, then maybe that's why, or maybe there's something being done because there is a motive. Because I feel like there is a motive to have young brothers concerned with the wrong things, bro. That's just me. Maybe I'm tripping.
Eh.
Maybe I'm
I
tripping,
think
man.
it's
Maybe I'm tripping.
look. I think it's just a chicken and egg thing. It's just
Yeah.
that's how like like if you go back, like the genre started from people saying "f the police" in the ghettos and
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
type of
yeah.
shit, like
Yeah.
talking about like the social things going on there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then when that was outrageous and that was popular, that was making it popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then next minute, people talking about like, oh, I'm selling, an ounce of hard.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to say crack. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
because that was so popular, everyone that's coming up now,
Mm,
everybody that wants to rap now wants to come up like
true.
that. Like, look at it this way. Like, even Drake, right? Drake is, I don't know if you ever seen like the headlines video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got this Nike glove and he's got these goons in the back of him. And like, I
Right.
remember
I
Charlemagne was
watched this a
dissing him
lot.
like, oh, those are the most, yeah, like, but
Yeah.
people were dissing him like Drake trying to look tough. He's the most non-threatening goons I've ever seen in our lives. But then
Yeah.
fast forward to 2020,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Drake out here trying to be like in a Habibi goon thing. And
Yeah,
that's not because
yeah.
of an agenda. That's not because of an agenda. That's just what is popular. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
just
yeah,
think it's,
yeah.
it's a chicken and egg thing. Like, it's just the artists know that's what's popular. The record labels know that's what's popular. If it was the other
Mm.
way around, they promote the other way around. I don't think it's like some sort of
I
intent thing to be like,
I yeah.
mm,
Look, I get that, and I agree with the fact that it's what's popular. You know what I mean?
mm,
I
mm,
I agree with that, but I'm saying that like oh, I can see this is the it's more prevalent in the hip hop culture, or it's like okay, people when people even talk about the hip hop culture, right? When they say oh
mm,
the culture, you know what I'm saying? Do you
mm,
find that it is traits that are almost like it's like traits that people would consider as decent, like being honest,
mm,
that are considered to be part of the culture, or it's stuff that
mm.
is just ignorant, and then it's said, oh, it's the culture, it's ignorant, so it's the culture. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's normally ignorant, ignorant shit.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like,
and I just feel like, man, the culture should be positive. The culture should be about building. The culture should be about making people better, people, man, or making communities better. You know what I mean? I don't know.
think
Maybe
about
I'm just an old head, bro. I don't.
think about pop music for a second, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pop music for the most part is all about like sexing and shit like that,
yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true, true,
right?
true, true.
Slutty things, right? For
Yeah,
lack of
yeah,
a
yeah.
better word. But the difference is that I think pop ends at music, right? It doesn't. It doesn't.
Become
It's pop. it doesn't become
Life,
a whole,
lifestyle,
it doesn't
culture.
become how you dress,
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
you talk, how you sag your pants, or like all these other things, like even like what people are drinking with the Hennessy shit, like
Mm,
you know. So if you think about it that way,
mm,
it's just more to do with the fact that hip hop is just right or wrong more than music.
right.
If hip hop was just music, like we'll listen to it and then that was it. Like you listen to it and then you go back and throw on your
Yeah,
cowboy boots, then it wouldn't be an
yeah,
issue.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it's just a problem that it's more than that. And most of the things are negative,
Mm.
yeah, but I don't see any way how it changes though. I can't see it. I can't see it.
You can't see hip hop changing, huh?
Yeah, I can't see it being like an overall positive like
No,
message.
but yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I mean, because the thing is, like,
You guys flame Kendrick Lamar for
yeah.
being too preachy.
To be honest,
You guys flame J. Cole for looking like a homeless guy when he doesn't wear jewelry and anything.
I don't know, man. Me personally, I don't flame those guys.
Hmm.
I flame Kendrick Lamar because personally, I'm just not really that big a fan of his rapping style. I don't like when he does that weird high pitched voice or whatever he does, man. I don't, I don't like that. You
Keep
know what I mean?
ranting, bro.
No, I don't
Yeah.
like it. But I just like to have that diversity. I like to have rap and have different styles of rappers. You know what I mean? One dude on
Mm,
about his G shit, and he's actual G dude, in the streets or, drill guys, one J.
mm,
Cole, one, I don't know, one Kid Cudi with his emo rap. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm.
I would just like to have all of that. You know what I mean? Like,
You think it's more
together.
skewed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's more
exactly.
skewed.
It's
It's too
just to one
skewed to the other
side.
side.
Yeah, it's just skewed to one side, bro. It's just skewed
Man,
to one side.
it's it's unfortunate though because a lot of the association of what hip hop culture is negative and ignorant. Like it's like
Yeah,
hardcore G shit.
yeah.
It sort of ends up resting on brothers. You know what I
That's
mean? And
it, man.
that's the problem with it. You
That's
know what I
it.
mean? That's the problem with
That's
it. Cause
it,
like
man. Yeah,
I could be someone that's never listened to hip hop a day in my
yeah,
life, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
like I, if I walk out like we're in lockdown, right? If I walk out like
yeah.
this, I'm wearing a hat. It's a freaking baseball cap. It's got nothing to do with hip hop, right?
That's a regular outfit
I'm wearing
anyway.
a okay,
Yeah,
I'm wearing like
yeah,
I don't even have like the chain is not out, right? But like
yeah,
if I'm wearing a tracksuit and I'm walking around like this,
yeah.
it's always like always this like hesitation thing, or it's somebody want to talk to you and be like, yo, like or like people talk to you like with hand
Yeah.
movements, like they're rapping
That's
and
it.
like you know what I mean.
That's it.
So I always remember that all of that bleeds into how people be looking at brothers,
Every day.
man,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
every
yeah.
single day.
And
Like,
it's
mhm,
I mean and it's so true, bro. And it's weird because it's like sometimes it's kind of what has helped brothers to be accepted in places, because
mm,
when you rock up, people are kind of used to your face because they're used to seeing you because of hip hop, so they're kind of
yeah,
used to your skin or whatever, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
yeah,
it's exactly what you said because it'll
it's
affect you because
negative as
now,
well.
yeah, 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 because it'll,
Now you're supposed to be all of them stereotypes.
yeah, 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 man. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've just had, random stuff happen to you, while you're, I don't know, walking in the street or whatever,
Yeah, of
dudes
course.
asking you, dudes asking you for some product. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yeah, man.
Man,
Right,
like
but
back when the world was open, like back when the clubs were open, they'd be like,
open.
man, have you got
Um,
have you got like I'm like, bro, like how do you know
yeah.
like like how would I know?
No, but like, bro, for us, I actually think it's kind of understandable. But you're a young male, you know what I mean? I'm a reasonable young male, right? My old man told me that one time. My old man is like pretty grown, man. He's got gray hair and everything, big like gray beard, whatever. And he said one time he was just walking in the street, bro, and these dudes pulled over, bro, and they were like, yo, man, do you got some weed? Can we buy some weed off you? bro, my dad was pissed off. Man, he was mad. He was raging, but I wanted to laugh because to me it was so funny, bro. I was like,
See, that's what I mean, though.
that's,
Like,
but
that's
he
what I
was,
mean.
yeah,
Like,
he was pissed off.
that's the
He's,
problem with all of this, man. Like,
yeah, yeah,
because people, I think maybe that's why you want there to be like a better balance of like people pushing some positive shit,
everything, bro. Yeah,
be-
yeah,
because a lot of people can't differentiate between like a rapper and just like a regular black guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, bro, I can even imagine there's a lot of young brothers right now who go to high school, right? Who come here and then they do high school here, right? And then they are the
Mm,
only, or that they're one of the only brothers or one of the few brothers, right? Within the class,
yeah,
right? And they're
yeah.
expected because they're the only brother in the class. You know what I'm saying? They're expected to be the one who's,
You're dancing, you're
yeah,
singing, you're rapping,
exactly. Break dancing in the, whatever, and
man.
selling, selling weed, just being an overall rebel. And I feel like a lot of young brothers will get influenced, and then that will kind of affect them in school. You know what I mean? And then they'll go down that path. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
Bro,
they'll be
like
winning because they'll be cool.
it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah,
Nah, I was at a work conference once, man,
yeah, yeah,
and you know, on the last night, they had like a drink up and a dinner and all this stuff. So like we were dressed in all formal shit, bro,
yeah.
all formal, like button up, blah blah blah. And then at they started like there was like a dance. They started playing beats after like at the end after the end of the dinner. It wasn't even like hip hop and shit.
Yeah,
But every time they throw in like some Michael Jackson or something with a
yeah,
little bit of a kind of like urban beat,
yeah. They look at
bro, I
you.
got like 10 people pointing at me like, oh, you pushing me into the circle to dance. I'm like, man, like you don't know. I got two left feet, bro. Like, I got,
Nah,
bro,
brother, you embarrassing us out here, man. Learn some moves, man. Two step at least, bro. Just at least do your two step, bro. Like, just you're embarrassing us, man. Come on, man. You gotta live
yeah,
up to the
man.
stereotype, man. You gotta be good. You
Mm.
you you,
Look,
you even
man.
gotta go everywhere with a bit of weed in your pocket, bro, just in case somebody asks you, man.
Bro, you just gotta be like, look, gangsters don't dance, bro.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it.
Real G's, yeah, real G's don't dance. Yeah, nah, that's
Yeah, man. But to close this topic out, man,
yeah.
what's the famous lie and unpopular truth about this topic of yours, man?
Hey, man, for me the
Put you on the
famous,
spot.
for me the unpopular truth is that the hip hop culture is
Mm.
is too negative, and it's actually doing more harm to the in particular to the black community. Um, Even though it may not be intentional or whatever, but I feel like it actually does with the kind of like the the type of music that's really popular and everything these days and that's out there. It's actually doing more harm for me. That's my unpopular truth.
Do
Um,
you feel like that's more so here than like? Do you feel like that's more so in the Western countries than like in Africa? Because last time I was like home, like people don't really listen to hip hop back home, man.
Nobody cares about hip hop, bro.
Like,
Nobody gives a Nobody cares. Nobody cares about
but then like
America. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like people listen to like all this Amapiano bullshit that you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what they do.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I think maybe that's a function of also like what you say, like people here like whether you listen to it or not, people put it on you. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. To
same way,
be,
like yeah, like let's say you're a kid in
yeah,
high school in Brisbane somewhere.
uh,
Kuda 15 years old,
yeah,
the one
yeah.
black kid in the class.
Oh yeah,
Whether Kuda listens to hip hop or not, they're gonna
oh
put it
yeah,
on you. And the guys that are
yeah,
gonna hang around with you,
yeah,
the guys that are gonna hang around with you are gonna be the guys that like listening to hip hop. The
yeah.
white
That's
boys
it.
that like hip hop.
That's it.
Literally.
That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Chicken and egg.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you,
Yeah,
man.
so you started with the thing is you started with the um you started with the unpopular truth, man. So what's the famous lie?
Um, I guess the famous line would even be that it's cool. Like I mean, all this, all this, all the negativity is cool. You know what I mean? That'd be a
mm,
famous lie. Like negativity isn't cool. Like it's not cool to have, you know, multiple um like multiple
women.
baby mamas. Like look,
Yeah.
man, dudes do that. Let's be honest. Dudes, guys, girls, they all, people cheat, whatever, you know what I mean? People play the field, which,
Mm,
it's all good. Go out and do that, you know what I'm saying? But when you're
mm,
having kids with people and then you're not with them and then you're having kids growing up in broken homes and separate
mm,
families, that just makes
mm.
for unbalanced, like when them,
Person in
yeah,
society.
exactly. Those
Mm,
kids go through it, man. They have a tough
mm.
time growing up, and when they're adults, are, they are affected by it. So
True. That's true.
that for me would be the yeah, the famous lie that shit is cool. Even the whole overly materialistic thing, bro. You know what I mean? The overly
Mm,
materialistic. I don't think that's cool, man. I mean, and I'm not saying like there's nothing like wrong like with people, to dress up and look good and even
mm,
rock it. But then when you see the people going to the extents that they do, some dudes be, like some dudes be in debt and they be, just but
mm,
keeping up to appearances be
mm,
so that they can be dressing up like that. You know what I mean? That's not
mm,
cool. You know what I mean?
mm, mm,
That's it,
mm.
man. That's how I see it.
Nah, look, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely can't disagree with that. I think that's a very valid point. I think to add, I definitely will say that the famous lie is that obviously all black youth or black guys or black people even like hip hop. I think that's just like a Western, like those black people in Western countries, really. I think it's not as prevalent in Africa, where the majority of black people on earth
Yeah.
live. And a lot of these
Yeah.
stereotypes are like American stereotypes that have been like broadcasted onto everybody else that's black, even though, I mean, my name's
Like a
Yankho,
blanket.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
my name's not,
Trayvon.
Trayvon. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't use, look, yeah, you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you, man. All right. Well, now, all right. That's it with that one. But what about? Tell me what's going on, man, right now in Melbourne with the lockdowns, man. What's the current situation, dude?
Man, I'll give this is a little preview of I guess what we
Yeah.
want to talk about next.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking to find somebody who we want to get somebody on here who is grown up, born and bred here in Australia. That has a pretty I guess mainstream view
Not an immigrant.
of
Not a
not here,
recent
not
immigrant.
why you say it like that, bro? Not an immigrant.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to hear like some want to have discussion about these lockdowns
perspective.
and whether
Yeah.
they make sense, whether they're overkill. But to answer your question, in Melbourne, I think we're at 8 weeks now of lockdown.
Wow.
So that includes six of that eight is a curfew. You can't leave your house past 8 o'clock.
Mm, mm.
Um, between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. Um, this is Monday to Sunday. You can't go outside of 5 kilometers from your house at all times. You can't have friends over. You can only go outside for 1 hour per day, and that's one person per household. Like if
Fuck.
all these things, and like
Yeah.
I often have this discussion with people like interstate about how it's actually fucked up. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
fucked up
mm,
here.
mm, yeah,
It
you've
has
told
a
me before.
huge,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And then a lot of you guys from interstate, you think, no, it's not that different. It's really not that different. I mean, the difference is you can only go to the park or go to Coles here in Melbourne. Like that's really
Yeah.
where you can go.
Fuck. Yeah, that's
And
peak, man.
yeah, so the state's premier, people have been. I guess people are starting to have enough of it. But like, this is not even really like the general public because from what looks like the general public seems to be really cool with all of this. So that's why we're
Mm,
trying to get somebody on here to,
mm,
but
mm, mm, mm.
I'm of the view that the
You think it's
lockdown
more young
restrictions
people as well, bro?
that are for the lockdowns,
No, no, young people against it. Like young single
I
people.
no. Nah, I think
Yeah.
it's like really just like the type of people that you'll find on, for example, like on Reddit, for example, or people that read a lot of like articles and
Mm.
like really get into a lot of different political shit. Those are the type of
Yeah.
people that will really be against it, which is not most people,
Yeah.
you know, because I can't have this conversation with anyone else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, they've announced that they're gonna, you know, announce next Sunday, on Sunday, this Sunday, the
Mm.
6th of September,
Uh-huh.
the roadmap to opening up, you know, and they're saying they can't open too quickly because if they open too quickly, cases will just spike again. They'll have to lock down again, which to me, it's sort of a mute point because any lockdown, even like with the restrictions as they are now, us
Mm-hmm.
being able to go to Coles, if I pick up, for example, if I go to Coles and I pick up a shampoo and I decide, no, that's not the right shampoo,
Mm.
you know, the virus could easily spread like that. You can't 100% control a virus. And I just think that, you know, we can't do the lockdown, shutdown, lockdown based on the number of cases every
Yeah,
day.
that one is it's yeah, I mean we you can't keep going through that cycle. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Lockdown,
know, you
shutdown,
can't,
open up, shutdown. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, like in the number of cases, like I just, you know, like I'm not gonna get too much into the argument of it because it's
Yeah,
for
because we'll
next one.
touch
But
it. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's just I feel like other countries have moved on from this lockdown,
Okay,
you know, shut off,
okay.
lockdown, shut
Yeah,
off,
yeah, yeah.
and rightfully so
Now
because there's
I
so
was
much. Yeah.
reading, I was reading even like
Mhm.
that. Like here are like the like our like restrictions and like in terms of traveling.
Mm.
Because right now, like you need to apply for a special exemption if you're an Australian
Mm.
citizen to travel overseas, and you need to provide like a very valid, like strong reason to be
That
doing
doesn't
that.
even make any sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then I mean, when you well, like I was looking up other countries, and it's just the government advises you not to travel.
They don't force you
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
not
But if
travel.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but if you want to travel, yeah, 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 yeah. So
Because
yeah,
how does that affect Australia? Let's say if you want to go be like, if you want to say like, look, I'm gonna like duck off and work from
yeah,
home from
yeah,
Malawi for the next
yeah,
6 months or whatever. How does
yeah.
that impact? How does that impact
They
Australia?
they're just saying when you come back when you come back and you potentially bring the virus and then you potentially infect people, you're gonna end up being a burden
You can,
on the
but
country,
you
on
can
the
just
economy.
quarantine for 14 days. You can just quarantine.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah,
countries are just letting people quarantine for 14 days, like
yeah,
coming
yeah,
back.
yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, nah, yeah, yeah. I
You
agree
know,
with you. Yeah, I agree.
if so, that's I guess I feel like this plan that they're doing, like, oh, you know, we're
Mm.
gonna open up slowly. It doesn't guarantee that daily case numbers are not gonna go up, right? Because
Yeah,
I just feel like that's not what we should be looking at. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a member of parliament who's with the Liberal Democrats. His name is David. I think his name is David Maverick or something here in
Yeah,
Victoria.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's been putting these questions to these guys to say, look, you know, are the harms that are being caused by all these restrictions worse than the actual virus itself, as far as Australia is concerned? And
Yeah,
I'd agree with him, you know.
yeah,
And I guess that's what I guess I would want to be discussing on the next
yeah,
episode
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's what I
Okay.
think the the famous lie is that
Yeah,
daily case numbers should actually control our lives. And the unpopular truth is if we're supposed to be suppressing this virus,
yeah.
you know, so that our health system can cope with it, then daily case numbers shouldn't matter. It should be daily hospitalizations because
Hmm.
people are losing their jobs, their businesses, people are committing suicide, people have mental health issues,
Yeah.
and all of that seems to not matter. It's just tunnel vision to COVID.
Case numbers, case numbers, case numbers.
Case
Yeah, yeah,
daily case numbers,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
like nah,
yeah. Yeah. Now look,
you
man. Yeah.
know.
So hey, man, that's it. We really need somebody. If anybody wants to, please, man, just hit us up in the comms or just whatever, man. Just message us or yeah, man. We're really keen to hear from somebody else who's got a different perspective than our own, because clearly, man, we're cowboys, we're
Immigrants.
yeah, we don't like rules and we don't like laws. We just like to bend everything. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
No,
the hip
man,
hop culture, bro.
that's it. It's an African
Yeah, no,
culture
it's
too, brother.
African culture. Yeah, no, it's David Limbrick, MP. If anybody wants to look that up, but yeah, man. I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, bro. All right, man. All right, bro. It's been cool. It's been fun, and thanks again, brother.
All right.